I'm just a normal person. I get out there and do what everybody else does.
It's just awesome to kind of participate in something that's so patriotic.
We have to accept what we went through, but we also have to get accepted to what we want to be a part of, and that's the biggest thing there.
Every one of my victories is a victory for them. It's a victory for their families. That's what keeps me going now.
I'm Christy Lustow. Mercedes Erra is a bit of a rule bender too. She has succeeded in an industry dominated by men in France. And she's also known for her commitment to women's rights. Erra says her lifelong ambition is to empower women. In 2005, she became one of the founding members of the Women's Forum for the Economy in Society.
We have no many places we can hear the voice of women. And in this association, in this forum, you can hear. And it changed the way people speak, the women speak.
Erra's voice is heard by many. Recently, she was on the radio show France Culture in a discussion on sexual harassment in the workplace.
This is very important. But you have other problematic in the school, the image of the woman in media.
She is personally committed to the female brand. Even inside the advertising company she runs, she openly says she gives special attention to women, working to help them realize their full potential.
Yes, absolutely. I give a special attention, and in my agency it's always the same. You need to help women to go up and to need calm boys. Because sometimes they said, okay, I can do this, and they cannot do.
She wants absolute equality, and both women and men that work for her seem to appreciate and respect how she leads.
Yeah, she cares for people, and she's interested not only in the professional side of you, but also the personal side of you.
And as Erra points out, though she might be seen as a bit of a role model, women should not necessarily follow her lead.
I can sleep small hours. And I don't think all the women need to be sleep 3 hours a day and have my energy. No.
New York Fashion Week is one of the biggest events of the year. It's where big name and emerging designers show off 6 months of painstaking work. like Mark Jacobs, who showed a sleek collection of stripes and suits that won rave reviews.
After last season's romance and all the paisley and all the sort of swirly pattern, we wanted something very, crisp and very sexy.
It's where fashion meets politics. Tracy Reese dressed Michelle Obama for her speech at the DNC.
I just felt honored to be able to be a part, and she just glowed in it. She made it come to life.
At the RNC, Ann Romney wore Oscar de la Renta.
Fashion is non-political, Both ladies did unbelievably well for their husband.
And come spring, the looks you see on the runway will finally make their way to the stores.
You always look for your 10 things, your 10 must-haves.
Pastels and floral.
Things that you can see through.
Fuller skirts.
Black and white, and with a mod edge.
Of these patterns and this ethnic vibe, I would love that to be one of our must-haves.
You have to be a strong individual to be able to do what us military spouses do every single day during deployment.
Hey, do you want to wear a bikini tonight or no?
It's just go to work. You get up at 5:30, you get the kids dressed, you somehow get breakfast into them and yourself, you get to work by 7, you get what you need done, somehow get the kids with their backpack, their lunches, somehow we make it through the day. I'm left here with a husband who's in Iraq and being mom and dad. It's stressful, but it's a job I wouldn't trade for the world. When they come back, a lot of couples have to learn how to live with each other once again, and I know we'll probably have to do that because we've already come into a routine where it's just been the 3 of us.
My wife's been there. She's been my cornerstone, keeping me focused, making sure everything's taken care of at home so I don't have to worry about that as much, so I can focus on my mission here. This is my 3rd tour to Iraq. So I was here during the initial invasion with the 101st alongside 3rd ID. I just like serving. It's just some people are a banker and some people are soldiers. Sometimes being a soldier is a career for some people, and that's me. No deployment actually gets easier. Of course, being away from your family is always difficult. I missed our anniversary. It was a couple months right after I left, so I missed out on that. Missed out on every birthday. Missed out on the first day of school. Missed some of his functions and some of the school plays that they did, so missed on a lot of that. I look forward to being a husband and a father, getting back in the swing of things.
Homecoming, everyone gets excited, even though it's not their husband. People at work are like, so your husband's coming in today? I'm like, yes, he's coming in. They're like, oh my God, everyone around. The military community is just so tight with one another that everyone gets excited for you.
A gunman walked into an elementary school and opened fire, killing 20 small children and 6 adults. Police say he turned the gun on himself.
I saw some of the bullets going past the hall that I was right next to, and then a teacher pulled me into her classroom.
All these parents were waiting for their children to come out. They thought that they were, still alive. There's 20 parents that were just told that their children are dead. It was awful.
The majority of those who died today were children. Beautiful little kids between the ages of 5 and 10 years old. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of their own. Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams.
The horror that was visited upon our Sandy Hook school was not deserved. It is the angry and desperate act of a confused young man. There is no blame to be laid on us, but there is a great burden and a great challenge that we emerge whole, that these families devastated by unspeakable harm know and trust that we love them and will do everything we can to help them heal. I know that Newtown will prevail, that we will not fall to acts of violence. It is a defining moment for our town, but it does not define us. We are Newtown, a special and caring place. We are defined by acts of courage, by acts of love, and by our continuing commitment and love for our children and families.
My name is Mark O'Brien. I was a corporal in the Marine Corps, and in 2004 in Ramadi, Iraq, I was shot with an RPG, resulting in the amputation of my right arm and right leg. Finding out I lost my arm was a huge disappointment, and I remember looking at it and I just kind of sighed, at the time when I was in all the pain, and I didn't want to live with the double amputation. I was single at the time. I didn't know I was going to lose my arm. I just wanted it to end right there. I wanted the guys to keep firing down range, but when I woke up, I was a lot happier. The recovery process was, I think I was 10 months in the hospital. Physical therapy twice a day, occupational therapy twice a day, and my parents left their jobs and they were living with me down at the hospital. All the credit to them. I wouldn't be here now the way I am if it wasn't for them doing what they did for me. I'm just a normal person. I get out there and do what everybody else does. I grew up bow hunting and I shot left-handed. I draw like anybody else. I took an old release that I had, an archery release, and I modified it a little bit. The trigger sits in my mouth and I just push forward with my tongue. I came here to win gold, but that's how tournaments work. I ended up being the #1 seed for the shootout, and then I won the first round. In the second round, I just kind of fell apart, and I had a bad round, and I ended up pulling everything together for the bronze. I can't say enough about what goes on. I was actually a little delirious. I was like, what's this gonna be like? All the Marines don't know each other. By the end of the day, we're all hugging each other and we're all cheering for each other on the line, and it's getting back into it. It's so helpful. People should definitely be aware of this.
We were on a mission back in 9 June of 2010. We were at 150 feet, going 120 knots. We came under attack. And our tail rotor was taken out. Our helicopter started to spin. There was no time to be scared, training kicks in, and I knew Anthony was going to try to put the bird on the ground as quickly as possible. We stayed in the air as long as we could, because if we were to auto-rotate, we would have killed like 20 soldiers on the ground. The only problem was we were spinning so fast that when we attempted to auto-rotate, there was no cushion at the bottom, and we impacted the ground at 120 knots.
You guys did save people on the ground. In other words, you were able to spare them while people in your own helicopter could not be spared. Are you two the only survivors of your helicopter?
Yes. Yeah. We hit the ground. We hit the ground so hard that we lost 4 of our crew members right on impact. I was ready to die. And that's when our 2 ship landed and 3 brave men got out and saved our lives.
And they were from what branch? Air Force?
Air Force. We fly in a 2 ship.
So the rescuers
We're a 2 ship.
got rescued.
When they finally cut me out of the plane, they put me on our 2 bird, and by that time the British Marines had come and set up a perimeter around us, and they weren't able to. They weren't able to pull all of our brothers out immediately, so the British Marines. They stayed there and they held the ground till they were able to remove my brothers. Something like that really changes you. You know, it forces you to change, pushes you in directions you never even thought you would do before. Now, for some reason, I want to do triathlons. You know, I'm always looking for that next goal, you know, just to keep pushing myself. And you definitely live every day for the moment.
I would say I'm pretty darn determined.
That's what the Renegades is all about. He's not giving up.
We're brothers for life now. I know what he's doing. I know what his family's doing. Lights a fire within your soul. Every one of my victories is a victory for them. It's a victory for their families. It's a victory for him. And that's what keeps me going now. You know, it's just pushing on.